بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum, my beloved ones, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we are going to continue the Manasik al-Hajj. We're discussing about the miqat, and we had a few rulings remaining. Today we are going to discuss the ruling of a woman who had encounters of her period, monthly period, and what is her ruling. So because this ruling is connected with ruling number 169, which we had explained previously, and this ruling is ruling 170. So ruling number 169, we had discussed that if somebody forgets or becomes unconscious and so on, and he was not able to enter the state of ihram in the miqat, or no, out of ignorance about the ruling, ignorance about the application. So we said that either a person could be ignorant about the ruling itself, or he could be ignorant about the application. And I give you an example. One of the example is, I know that in front of me there is najis drink or forbidden drink or something like that, but I don't. So I know that it is khamar, or it is beer, or it is something. I know, I have a knowledge, but I am ignorant about the ruling. So that's one case. Ignorant about the ruling, knowing the object in front of you. The other part is, I know the ruling, but I don't know that this is khamr or not. So application. So either a person has ignorance about the ruling, or ignorance about the application or the object in front of him. So then we said four. First and foremost, if a person does not enter the state of ihram, then out of these circumstances, then he has to go back to the miqat, okay, and enter the state of ihram from there. Number two, what if he cannot go back to miqat, okay, and he was inside the haram? So we said, go out of the haram, okay, and enter the state of ihram from there. And in this case, we said, say the Sistani Dz says that he should go as far as possible as he can reach. Because he cannot go to the miqat, but he can go as far as possible. The third case was that he was in the haram and he was not able to go out of the haram. So in this case, we said that he will go So in this case, we had said that he will enter the state of ihram from wherever he is. So that was number three. He cannot go out. I mean, he's inside the haram. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he cannot sit in the car. Maybe there are certain circumstances. So we said that he doesn't need to go anywhere. He will enter the state of ihram from there. At the end of the day, he has to enter the state of ihram. Okay. And the fourth one was, no, he was out of the haram. He's not in Makkah. He's not inside the haram. He's out of haram. And he's not able to go to the miqat. Then he goes as far as possible on the basis of obligatory precaution and enter the state of ihram. If a person follows these four patterns, whichever applies upon him, then we will say that his ihram is valid. Excuse me. And his umrah is valid and his hajj is valid. And if he does not apply one of these, then his ihram will be invalid. That means he can go out of Makkah. He did not go. He entered the state of ihram from inside Makkah and he was able to go out. Or he was able to go to the miqat. He did not do that. Or he was able to go out of the haram. He did not do that. He was able to enter the state of ihram from Makkah. All these sequences. He did not do that. He was out of the haram. He was able to go as far as possible. No, he entered the state of ihram from there. So if he does not apply what he is supposed to, then as we say, kiss your ihram goodbye, hence kiss your umrah or hajj goodbye. That means invalid. And the same thing applied for somebody who entered the state of ihram before the miqat or after the miqat. These were the excuse me. These were the four scenarios we mentioned. Now let's check out the rule of a woman who encounters her period. So ruling number 170. إذا تركت الحائض الإحرام من الميقات لجهلها بالحكم. So we have what? Ignorance about the ruling. So what should she do? So this is number one segment. She does not know the ruling, and she was inside the Makkah and she was inside the Haram and people, oh, you did not enter the state of Haram? No. Wow, you shouldn't be entering the state of Haram. No, why should I be entering the state of Ihram? And from where or from what? So she did not enter the state of Ihram because she was ignorant about the ruling. Because many times when we go for Hajj and Umrah, not all the sisters and all the mothers and all the daughters, but most of them, once they arrive, they ask, where's the market? Where do they sell cheap stuff? So that concern is they've been doing about the rulings of marketing and shopping rather than the ruling of Hajj and Umrah. Because they used to ask us, once we tell them, Yumma, can we just perform the Umrah first, finish the Umrah, and then talk about the market? And and the poor ladies, whenever people they come from Hajj and Umrah, they bring those gifts like miswak and like the tasbih and like sibha and like those carpet prayer mat. They bring gifts. So now these people are generous people. They want to gift also. Wal jazaa'ul ihsan ila ihsan. So there's not a bad thing. Somebody did good. They want to do the same good with them. And I remember once upon a time, my closet was filled with prayer carpets. So, so that's why you may end up into getting too many prayer carpets. Then when you go to Hajj and Umrah, you don't need to buy prayer carpets. You have enough to give to the whole neighborhood. Yes. So therefore, she was like she did not know the hukum of miqat. So what should she do? فالأحوط وجوبا أن تخرج إلى خارج الحرم وتحرم منه إذا لم تتمكن من الرجوع إلى الميقات. So on the basis of obligatory precaution, that means some maraja might have different ruling here. Say the Sistani does not have ruling. He doesn't have fatwa. He has an obligatory precaution. He's taken precautionary measure. It's obligatory precaution. But that means you can refer to another marja who is highly knowledgeable and qualified. So what is the first step? Go back to the miqat. If she is not able to go back to the miqat, she enters the state of ihram from inside the haram. Okay? And if she's going to enter the state of ihram from inside the haram, yes. So if she has entered the haram, she has to go far away from the haram as much as possible. And as long as going to the miqat or going to the far away place is not going to cause any kind of uh, disturbance in her Hajj, that means it would not be a cause that she misses out her Hajj. She goes all the way out. This is an exception. In other than this case, he did not mention this condition. Sayyidi Sistani mentions this condition here, that no, Hajj is obligatory upon her and she has to perform Hajj, she has to try her best. And also, um, if let's say nobody is willing to take her, let's say she came with the caravan and the caravan was secured, so no one was willing to take her away from the haram, or no one is willing to take her, um, or she doesn't have a people to take her, or somehow she became sick, and somehow or she had some kind of any situation which prevents her from going out. So so it is understood that many times it's difficult for women to go out to the miqat all the way, or to, so that's why say this Sistan says on the basis of obligatory precaution to go to the miqat. If not, then go out of the haram, because she has entered the haram. The ruling hypothesis is that and dakhalat al haram, if she entered the haram, so she goes going to the miqat, uh, inapplicable, go out of the haram, and as much as possible away from the haram, and enter the state of ihram, as long as that should not cause any uh, uh, kind of because should not be the cause of her missing out the Hajj. And if she's not able to go out of the haram, then her ruling is similar to the ruling of others. Like, what was the ruling of others? Enter the state of ihram from Makkah. Okay, so let's read ruling number 170. إذا تركت الحائض الإحرام من الميقات لجهلها بالحكم. Excuse me. If a woman who is in her monthly period um, did not enter the state of ihram from the miqat due to the ignorance about the ruling until she entered the haram, إلى أن دخلت الحرم, فالأحوط وجوبا, basis on the obligatory precaution, or it would be obligatory precaution upon her to exit the haram, أن تخرج إلى خارج الحرم, to go out of the haram. Okay, to go out of the haram, to exit out of the haram, وتحرم منه, and enter the state of ihram from there, from out of the haram. إذا لم تتمكن من الرجوع إلى الميقات, if she was not able to go back to the miqat or return to the miqat. What does that mean? That means the first thing is she has to try to go to the miqat. If she cannot, if there are problems, all those issues, or she will miss out her Hajj, she might lose her way, lose her um, 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 like somebody can lose way easily if she was going to go by herself in a bus or a train or something like that. So this is the segment number 1. So what will happen? He says that, or more than that, we said kharij al-haram. There's more of in addition to that obligation. بل الأحوط لزوما More even, it is obligatory precaution in this case where she was inside the haram, and we said go out of the haram, and she cannot go to the miqat. أن تبتعد عن الحرام بالمقدار الممكن ثم تحرم. So the third segment came in, okay, or the second segment came in here, to go as far as away. على أن لا يكون ذلك مستلزما, as long as that would not be a cause that would make her miss her Hajj, or that would cause her to miss the Hajj, لفوات الحج. So the three stages are a bit uh, mixed with each other. So she has to go to the miqat on the basis of obligatory precaution. She's inside the haram. And if she cannot go to the miqat, she has to go out of the haram, away from the haram as much as possible on the basis of obligatory precaution. If she cannot go away from the haram, just out of the haram. Okay? If she cannot go, it's just like that, she just enters the state of ihram, where from the spot she is on, or wherever she is. Um, and وَفِيمَا إِذَا لَمْ يُمْكِنُهَا إِنْجَازُ ذَلِكَ, if she was inside the haram, going out of the haram, going far away from the haram, going to the miqat, three of these actions were not, she was incapable or unable to perform those three things, or one of the three things, one of the three stages. فهي وغيرها على حد سواء. So she and others, like others means in the previous ruling, other than the period, any excuse like forgetfulness, like ignorance, like all those, we said that she's not able to go out, like وَفِيمَا إِذَا لَمْ يُمْكِنُهَا, she was not able to, then her ruling is like that, just become muhrim from wherever you are, enter the state of ihram from wherever you are. Good. Ruling number 172. Now, ruling number 172, Sayyidi Sistani Dz says, إِذَا فَسَدَتِ الْعُمْرَةِ, but does not define which umrah. But then there's a sentence indicates is the umrah of Hajj, umrah associated with Hajj. That means umrah to tamattu'. So what will happen if the umrah is invalid? The Hajj tamattu' is invalid. Because remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, دخلت العمرة في الحج هكذا. The Umrah has entered the Hajj and they become one part. So Umrah is one part of the Hajj. And the Umrah Mufrada doesn't have a limit. Hajj, Umratul Tamattu has a limit. The limit is until the noon of the day of Arafat, 9th Dhul Hajj noon. One should perform his Umrah completed, Umrah Tamattu, before that. And if for circumstances he was not able to, then it converts to Hajj. His Ihram should change to Hajj. So now here we are not talking about somebody in the state of Ihram. We are talking about somebody whose Ihram was invalid. So he says, or for any other reason, he entered the state of ihram. No, he was not like he entered the state of ihram without saying labbaik. You don't say labbaik, you're not in, like takbirat al-ihram, Allahu Akbar, you are in the salat. If you don't say takbirat al-ihram, you're not in the salat. So so you did any reasons or any causes which invalidates the ihram. So if the or invalidates the umrah, like he was in the state of ihram and he was not able to complete the manasik of ihram of umrah al-tamattu until the dhuhr time, and did not change the niyat also, niyat of his ihram to hajj in certain cases. So his umrah tamattu', Umrah al-tamattu' will be invalid. Okay, his Umrah of tamattu' will be invalid. Or no, ihram was invalid. So his Umrah will be invalid. Like intentionally, or one of the pillars of ihram he did not perform, or any of the things which invalidates the ihram. So he says ruling number 171. إذا فسدت العمرة ولو لفساد إحرامها. If the umrah, that means umrah to tamattu in parenthesis, umrah associated with Hajj, if someone's umrah was invalid due to the, even if though it was due to the invalidation of the ihram, ولو لفساد إحرامها وجبت إعادتها مع التمكن. You are going to perform Hajj Tamattu'. So you need to repeat the Umrah. You did the Umrah, but your Ihram was not valid. And intentionally, and you did not follow the procedures. We said you have to follow the procedure. If you can go to the Miqat, go to the Miqat. If you cannot go to the Miqat, go outside of the Haram. If you cannot, as far as possible, you cannot go as far as possible out of the Haram. If you cannot go out of the Haram, just inside the. So he did not follow the procedure. So his Ihram was invalid. So if the Umrah it was invalid, even due to the invalidation of the Ihram, wajabat i'adatuha. It would be obligatory upon him to repeat it ma'at tamakkun, if he's able to. So just you're in the Qa'dah, okay? Go back to the miqat, enter the state of Ihram, come back. You still have a lot of time for Hajj. So يجب إعادة العمرة. وجبت إعادتها. It will be obligatory to redo the Umrah مع التمكن, with the ability to do so. ومع عدم الإعادة ولو من جهة ضيق الوقت. But if he did not redo the Umrah, he said, no, I've done the Umrah, خلاص. Or no, there's no time left. Tomorrow is like day of Arafat, or today is the day of Arafat, Dhuhr time, and I'm just in the morning, 8 o'clock. Where? How will I go back to the miqat, and how will I enter the state of ihram? And also, no, we said if you are not able to just enter the state of ihram from inside the haram, he did not do that as well. Okay, because the time was short to do, like it was just half an hour to the zawal. He cannot perform all the manasik of umrah, like umrah al-tamattu' from ihram, labbaik, going to the performing tawaf, to rakat tawaf, and the caravan would leave for Arafat, or there's no way he can go to Arafat late after this. So the time is very narrowed. So وَمَا عَدَمِ الْإِعَادَةِ, and if he does not redo the Umrah, وَلَوْ مِنْ جِهَةِ ضِيقِ الْوَقْتِ, even though it was due to the narrowness of the time, in bracket, like very close to the day or noon time of the 9th of Hajj, يَفْسُدْ حَجُّهُ, his Hajj will be invalid. وَعَلَيْهِ الْإِعَادَةُ فِي سَنَةٍ أُخْرَى, and it is obligatory upon him to redo the next year. Okay, in next year, in any other year, not next year. في سنة أخرى. That means whenever he was able to. إعادة في سنة أخرى. And it could be the next year, it could be any year. He has all the circumstances to perform. So basically, if this was Hajjat al-Islam, the first obligatory Hajj, then he has not been relieved from his responsibility. So that means he has to perform it any other year. But if it was Mustahab Hajj, no hard feelings. I mean, it became invalid. Okay, like Mustahab Umrah, if it becomes invalid, no hard feeling. Khalas, what? It's not a big deal. Inshallah, you'll get your thawab. Final ruling for this section of miqat. قال جمع من الفقهاء بصحة العمرة. إذا أتى المكلف بها من دون إحرام لجهل أو نسيان. A group of scholars, jurists, they said they considered the validity of Umrah. For the person, they considered the Umrah of a person who performs it without ihram due to the ignorance or forgetfulness to be valid. So, group of scholars considered the validity of Umrah for a person, responsible person, who performed it without ihram, without entering the state of ihram. قال جمع من الفقهاء بصحة العمرة فيما إذا أتى المكلف بها من دون إحرام لجهل أو نسيان. However, Sayyidi Sistani Dz says, I have a problem with this ruling. Okay? I have a problem. So he says, ولكن, however, هذا القول لا يخلو من إشكال. The statement of their or their fatwa or their decree is problematic. It's not free from problem. That means it's problematic. والأحوط وجوبا. So what should we do, Sayyidina? On the basis of obligatory precaution, in such case, to redo the Umrah. Redo the Umrah as mentioned previously, if he was able to. So what should he do? He should do the Umrah the way, but he's inside the Haram or he's inside Makkah, same thing. If you can go to the Miqat, go. If you cannot go to the Miqat, out of the Haram as far as possible. If you cannot go as far as possible out of the Haram. If he's in Makkah, inside Makkah. But he needs to enter the state of Ihram properly. Okay? So he says, في هذه al-i'ada. He has to redo. Now redo what? Ihram or Umrah. Umrah, because he did not do the Ihram. Min duni ihram, and he says there was no ihram out of forgetfulness or out of ignorance, unawareness. فالأحوط وجوبا في هذه الصورة الإعادة, in obligatory precaution in this case or in such case, the Umrah needs to be redone based on whatever was explained, whatever we had explained previously, if it was possible for him to do so. So that means even the ignorance. Come on, I mean, how can to say this is done? How can one perform Hajj and Umrah without entering the state of Ihram? Even if he can enter the state of Ihram, cannot go out of Makkah. We said in Makkah, because it was out of ignorance and out of forgetfulness. That's fine. Just enter the state of Ihram from Makkah. You don't have to go out of the Makkah if you're not able to. It's all on the ability, able to or not able to. So we completed, Alhamdulillah, the section of Miqat. And inshallah, we'll try to, as you know, that we try to take the ahkam. Then, like people, they ask fatwas to say this Sistani, istifta'at. So the annex or the appendix of istifta'at of each section is where is there in the end of the manasik al-hajj. So what we will do is, inshallah, we are going to take portions of those appendix, istifta'at, the Q&As, and explain it after each section. So like, for example, we did now ahkam al-mawaqit. We'll try to get all the rulings, Q&As of mawaqit, and we are going to, from tomorrow, mention it. So it's all integrated, the content, and then sometimes the Q&A has a lot of repetition of the fatwas. So we can immediately filter out and just mention the clarifications and further understanding of certain rulings which were not clarified properly in the text of the book. So inshallah, from tomorrow, we will have 1 hour session. So that means from now, before this time, we'll start 1 hour before this time. So we meet tomorrow bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, 1 hour like before this time. Whatever time you have now, we will be 1 hour ahead. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.